Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I hope your week has been well.
Yes, thank you. Hope yours as well too.
Yes, thank you. Okay, today we want to look at the practitioner statement and the project schedule. Okay, guys, welcome back. Today we are assuming that we have uh, we have gotten a clearance in terms of what we want to do. We have a clear picture of the product we want to develop. So today is basically looking at the whole plan, um, detailing how we are going to achieve the development of this product. So the two tools or the two documents that we are going to discuss will help us to plan, because you know, if you don't have a plan of how you want to move from point A to B, then you will not boast of saying, I'll eventually reach point B if you don't have a plan for it. So basically, that's what we are going to do here. So whatever we had discussed on the requirement specification are going to be fed into these two documents, and this is what is going to guide us in the execution. So Um, the schedule or the plan is there to allocate time and resources um, effectively, while the practitioner statement is there to guide on the quality of the product that we are going to come up with. So we are going to look at the approach and also justifying the approach. So looking at the project schedule, uh, you will be picking a specific methodology maybe to work with because you are developing a software product. So you'll be juggling around with if you want to apply the waterfall model, you want to use the V model or the Scrum, or is it extreme programming or Kanban. So you have to put all this into a length of time and try to check whether you are going to achieve that within the specific timeline that has been given. So the project schedule will indicate what needs to be done, which resources must be utilized, and when the project is due. In short, it is a timetable that outlines start and end dates, including milestones that must be met for the project to be completed on time. In other words, you can look at a schedule as a listing of projects, milestones, activities, and deliverables, usually with intended start and finish dates. This schedule should be updated on a regular basis in order to gain a better understanding of the project current status. Yeah, so something to mention is that the two documents will be a living document, which means uh, you not like write one and say, yeah, you stick with that kind of schedule. You'll keep on changing, you'll keep on um, modifying it so that um, it fits the methodology that you're working with. Yeah, so we usually work with certain tools to help us develop a schedule. One of them being a Gantt chart. So you'll have a listing of activities and you'll have a calendar which shows uh, the duration for each activities and the dependence or interdependence between these activities. So basically using certain software, you can visually um, uh, display this and be in a position to see the current status at any given time. So if you use development tools, project management tools like Microsoft Project, and then you can come up with such um, outputs, which will help you to monitor your project. Then let's look at practitioner statement. So it is assuming that having already set your requirement specification and schedule, we now allow you to start implementing your project. So today we are assuming that you have agreed with the client on the kind of product you want to develop, and yeah, so your project is underway. So the remaining part is to now implement the schedule or the plan as you aim to deliver the product on time. Remember, you have talked of very nice products which the client is really eager to see, and um, you can only uh, do that if you deliver a good product on time. If you say that you're going to deliver a certain product and at a certain time, then you extend, then it means that the client or the recipient um, may not have all that patience to wait up to um, the time that you will be comfortable to deliver. So we are racing against time, and we have to implement uh, the plan that we have put before us. So the key assessment deliverable here is the practitioner statement. Now, in this document, you'll have to explain and justify the approaches, methods, tools, and techniques that you'll use. And this practitioner statement is also a working document. It is a living document too. So it should not exceed 4 pages and should be written entirely using your own words. Don't copy and paste um, content from the internet, because um, it's very rare that you'll find the document fitting what you're trying to develop. Now, the two documents should not be generic. I think we've talked about this, and then now I know majority of you, based on the amendments that you've done, I'm happy that we are really improving. I must commend you for that. We have now uh, conceptualized the kind of product that you want to come up with, and we can really talk about that product, not talking about um, generic uh, content. Like we are actually actualizing, we are putting into context everything uh, in in our product. We are conceptualizing it in a manner that makes it fit within the product that we are developing. So this report should also follow the same approach. Even the schedule, don't give schedule that is imaginary. Just be realistic, because uh, we'll have to find whether it is realistic or ambitious, or being below expectation, or uh, below the required threshold. So there must be a balance between those between being ambitious and also being trivial. I believe you understand what I mean by being trivial. So you have to balance the two. So the practitioner statement is considered to be 15% of the overall mark, and it should be an evolving document as your project is being implemented. So you'll be learning some new kind of new tool or new approach or new methodology, and you'd want to update it on your practitioner statement. So the project schedule and the statement go hand in hand. So your schedule will embody your own professional practice and it should be unique to you. The practitioner statement is derived from this schedule, and the two documents go hand in hand. So we are being told that a good schedule will underpin a good practitioner statement. Yeah, so how do you generate a practitioner statement? Because it is unique to you, there are certain things that will enable you to generate your practitioner statement. So the two developers cannot have the same practitioner statements. It can never be. So we find that whatever fits into the schedule are things like previous experience. For example, when you start, at the start now, you are going to generate a schedule based on your experience. And from that schedule, you'll come up with a practitioner statement. You can also derive new knowledge and skills, and that one can shorten or lengthen certain activities, you know, and it may also enable you to condense certain activities or blow out certain activities into new activities here and there. So this for the new knowledge and skills added to the experience will give you way a better way of coming up with a schedule. Then of course you have the knowledge of the client needs. So if you put the client needs into perspective too, they are all the deriving to generating a good schedule. Then you can also look at selection of methods, tools, and techniques. If you learn of a new method or tool or a technique, then your schedule will also change. Project management methods and tools, this will also be, when used appropriately, will uh, modify your schedule and practitioner statement. Looking at deliverables or tangible outputs, the same. Discipline-specific language. If you are using PHP and now you've realized now I want to use a specific programming language, then you'll be able to uh, update your schedule and practitioner statement accordingly. Then continuous updating of practitioner knowledge and skills. You'll keep on learning certain things, and this will also affect the schedule and practitioner statement. So the schedule is fulfilling two roles. First, it is a working planning document that can be adjusted depending on how the project proceeds with the goal of finishing on time. And secondly, it embodies and demonstrate your practitioner knowledge and practice. This means that you can refine and adjust the task descriptors and deliverables to reflect your improving practitioner knowledge and skills. That is, the schedule will be adjusted and improved as you proceed. See, once your design work is underway, you should start writing your practitioner statement. In the time available and with the breadth of programs involved in the module, it is impossible to supplement teaching significantly with informational methods and approaches. However, with all modules, for example, this at level 3, you are expected to read around and investigate or research. Now, in this context, it means that the investigation and applying contemporary approaches and methods in your own practice will be part of investigation and application. You'll glean ideas from your past and current modules. So whatever you've learned from the previous modules, and even what you're learning now, you need to put them into practice. As in, you need to apply those ideas. You need to use those ideas to this project. Yeah, but by developing good practitioner behaviors, you'll improve your chances of achieving high marks for the practitioner statement. So in terms of formatting, this should be a 4-page narrative. Should not include any diagrams or illustration. Should not have more than 6 section headlines. Then you should not use bullets, lists, tables, diagrams you have taken from books, papers, or web. Should write in paragraphs. Um, for example, three paragraphs um, to the page. The content of this document needs to be very close matched to the schedule. So you should not use any tool or technique without explanation of its use in the practitioner statement, and vice versa. Vice versa means you should not talk of a certain tool that you've not used in your project. Yeah, so as you start writing this document, please, let's just talk about it. I know here it's a bit tricky, but I know you will be able to handle it. Do not leave the writings of this statement until the end of the project. Then this document needs to be well written and presented. So this needs to be an iterative development and refinement. Remember that the schedule and practitioner statement go hand in hand. Yeah, so that's what we wanted to look at today. Let me open.
Do we need to have multiple revision copies of this practitioner statement? Because you said it's an evolving document. How will we show that it's been worked on over the course of the project?
Okay. That is. Okay, that's James.
Yes.
Okay, now the two documents are like working documents. So you'll start somewhere, and from wherever you start, it's going to dictate how you're going to move forward. So it's very important that once you start working on it, you share it with the client. So what you'll do is that you'll start writing it, you'll start developing it. Then when we meet, maybe next time, we'll be able to go through individual practitioner statement, because it is a long document. So I know it takes time maybe to read and understand, but we can have a gauge, or we can be able to determine if you're heading into the right direction or not. So it doesn't mean that whatever you send is final. What you said is that once you start, because you need to start from somewhere, you need to, once you start, then you need to maybe compare it with what the client is looking at, whether it's ambitious or it's underrated, you know. Yeah, so you need to really share it.
Sure, but there's no requirement to submit multiple versions of them to show that you've worked on it over the module. You just submit one final one at the end.
All right. You can still keep version, because on your portfolio, on your e-canvas, you can upload as many. For the sake of hours, what we do is that we can have maybe 2 copies. So you can have a draft one, which maybe the first one that you're working on. Then if you make changes, then you'd now put it as the final. You can have draft, draft practitioner, draft project schedule. And then from that, you now upload the actual practitioner statement or the actual project schedule. So with Canvas, it's possible that you can upload more than one. I believe I'm right there. You can upload more than
Yeah,
one.
it's just what's required to be submitted. That's all.
Yes. But what I was thinking, yeah, I think if you have two, but you mark it draft, you mark draft and basically the final one, it would be easier for the examiner to pinpoint the final document and forgo the draft. But again, I'll also be giving comments on Canvas, and that's why I've been encouraging you to send your work, but with a link to your e-portfolio, so that the comments are recorded. I show that you've been making progress on your document or on your e-portfolio. James, I don't know if I've answered you satisfactory.
I think so. I just remember in software enterprises,
Yes.
we had to do a weekly reflection document
Yes.
over the course of the module, which showed the progress of what we were doing.
Okay.
But it's just because you put in this slide, it says it needs to show the evolution of the documents. So that's why I'm asking what we need to have to show that we've worked on it. But that's fine. If we can just submit the initial draft and then the final one, then that's fine with me.
Yeah. So the others, I think we can have comments. We can work with the comments on eCanvas, just the same way we did with requirement specification. You actually did a draft. However, it is not uploaded, but yeah, if you feel that like you want to upload your draft, but I don't think so, because you have to upload a signed requirement specification. So with that, I think if it's just documented on eCanvas, there should be no issue. Yeah, but for this one, we can keep the version, can have the draft, then you have the final project schedule and the final practitioner statement.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, James. Other query? Now, the other issue is
on
okay.
Canvas, it's shown exactly the
Yes, Naval. Come on again.
the guidelines there, like the guidelines are there on Canvas, right? Hear you.
Please come on again, Naval. It seems you are talking, but we can't hear you.
Oh, that
Naval, you're still not audible. Okay, somebody else, as Naval comes in later. I think he's having a challenge with his microphone. I know this part is a bit challenging, so please ask as many questions as you would.
So what objectives do we need to use in the document for us to create the breakdown?
The objectives are on your requirement specification.
So
Remember,
you
you talked of you want a system with say backend, administrative backend. So your
so the
objective,
functional.
yeah, both functional and non-functional, but not wish list, because you are not implementing the wish list. So don't say you want to implement something on a wish list. It should not be part.
So objectives,
Yeah.
the functional and non-functional requirement.
Yes. So you'll just state it in terms of objectives. For example, if your requirement was to have the system to develop a system. Okay, the system should have uh, an online ticketing, uh, um, module, for example. So your objective will be to design and develop an online ticketing module for this product. You'll have to explain what product you're talking about. Then you give it a timeline, like if you use the Gantt chart, if you use a network diagram, but you need to show that this objective has been given resources and you have given it time. In fact, the resources are time and human labor. So you have to state who will be responsible for this and for how long and what kind of resources, other resources, apart from the person who is going to be in charge of it. Remember, you talked about resources. And that's why when you are writing your requirement specification, I was asking you, are you sure these are the only resources that you are going to use? Because if you introduce a resource here that you have not talked about your requirement specification, then it becomes a bit, you'll be asked tough questions. Like, why did you declare it in the requirement specification? Like you are telling us that you'll have, say, you will test with users, maybe a specific users in a certain lab, and you didn't tell us that those are part of the resources that you will be working with. So you see, it will be a bit inconsistent because you must have preempted the kind of resources that you're going to work with. And because if you have a plan and you don't have resources, then you'll not be able to achieve it. But if you know the resources are going to be implied or they're going to be adopted, yeah, then we are sure you will be able to achieve the objective. So the objective, Mohammed, are derived from the functional and non-functional requirements, because you have now to achieve them. You have to achieve them. And this document is purely yours. You are the one who should know how to project it or to show it to the people. So there's no specific format, but we'll have to ensure that you have objectives, you have resources to execute that objective, and you have some expected outputs. So are you okay, Muhammad, at that point?
Yes, I'm okay. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Let me receive other questions.
Hello, can I go for it? Sorry, my internet connection went off just as you were discussing with James. I don't know if you touched on this point. On the practitioner's statement, would it be safe to say to look at it like a journal entry, where each time possibly you finish with an event, or you encounter an event, you put like a date and the experience you've had at that particular point. Basically, I'm looking at a date being the key point in my question, and the assumption is that you're putting your experience in a paragraph as was required.
Um, Paul, I don't know if I've gotten you right.
So I'm looking at it. Okay, the practitioner statement requires us to write in paragraphs.
Yes, yes.
But also saying that we use the schedule to guide what content goes into the statement, and by that I'm seeing it's going to be like an experience you encounter while you are fulfilling the schedule. So, like, let's say you're designing the database, and then you come and say, on this day, okay, you put a date entry, and then you say on a particular day, I was designing the database, and then I experienced XYZ. I had to revert to another approach, and basically you continue with your statement, like your paragraph like that. So my question is that approach acceptable, as in where I'm going to put in the date, sort of like a subheading?
No. You don't need to divide it in terms of dates. You're just going to write it in a continuous prose. Just what you've stated is the same thing that you will state in your practitioner statement. You know, it doesn't mean that if you used it in the first version. I remember what James said, that we may create versions. I've said that we can have a draft and the final documents. So say in the draft, you were talking about a certain database, say MySQL. Your product was running under MySQL database. Then after reading about Oracle during the time of implementation of your product, you realize that Oracle is actually very good and can help you achieve maybe um, certain features better compared to MySQL. So in the practitioner statement, you will mention MySQL, but you'll say that after learning 1, 2, 3, I realized that Oracle is better, is better than MySQL. And now at that point you have liberty to jump or to connect those two. But now you give prominence to Oracle, not to MySQL. So basically, that's what you will put as the practitioner statement. Paul, I don't know if I've answered you.
Yeah, you're answering. I was actually trying to connect that with the versioning approach that James was talking about.
Yes.
And I had looked at having dates as the option, the alternative for coming up with different documents.
Yes.
So just those subtopics with the date being the version instance instead.
Okay. So I think that is okay. That is right. So with the versioning, if you can show the versioning using a software, then well and good, because you have introduced a new technology. But you have to justify why you are using that approach. Justification is very important in terms of the project being developed. You know, if you are developing a database for, say, a very small organization, then you start talking of Oracle. Yeah, then you have to justify very hard how Oracle is the best tool to use in that scenario.
Okay, I have a different question. Separate from the practitioner statement. This is on the project schedule. So I went through the PowerPoint slides. There's a slide that which seemed to show that you're using Microsoft Project,
Yes.
and I'm looking at this module being something of implementing lessons from previous modules.
Yeah.
Now, last semester we were doing web development, and we were not allowed to use tools like Project. So instead, we had to implement, do the Gantt charts on Excel, and do the project schedule along with the deliverable document. We did that in Word.
Mm.
Is it going to hurt to use the same approach, or are we being pushed to the direction of using Microsoft? Okay, project, not necessarily the Microsoft one, but project management software. Are we safe with Excel?
Mm-hmm. No, in terms of project management tools, I don't think if there are restrictions, unless somebody has noticed one, but I don't think if there are restrictions in terms of the kind of project tools you want to use. So whatever you pick, you have just to justify by giving reasons why that's the most um, that's the best that you can work with. You know, you have just to justify that. But you are coming from a certain reasoning. You are coming through a line of thought. So previously you had used this, but now after reading or after realizing something, you want to use a different tool altogether. So that one will enable you to justify why this new tool is now the best compared to the one that was in version, say version 1. Now you're in version 3, and you are looking at, you are realizing that now I don't need to use this other tool. I need to use a different tool. And that different tool is going to change your project. I'm not saying that it must change, but in most cases it will change, because certain tools will merge different activities into either one or fewer. Other tools will imply creating more activities or subdividing certain activities into more activities. And that one is going to affect your schedule. So yes, in your project schedule, you can have that evolution even in terms of your writing. Your writing can also evolve. Like you can say, initially I thought this, and it will link back to your reflection, evaluation and critical reflection. You evolve, you know, you are this way during the start, but in the end, you are now this way. So I don't know if I've answered you. Right.
Well, okay, I'm okay. You've answered the question at least on the Gantt chart and being free to use any tool.
Yeah. So you can use any tool.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you can use any tool, but you have to justify. You know, the main thing here is justification. Even if you say Excel is the best as per your products, then go ahead and use Excel, and please come and defend to us how Excel is the best. If you win, then yeah. By the way, there are no correct answers here. It is based on you, just the coherency in your argument. No? Yeah, because you can convince us that Excel is the one. Excel is the one that you can use effectively to manage my schedule. And if you give a good reason, nobody will penalize you. But if your arguments are not strong enough, then it becomes very tricky believing in your approach. Because we may say that you are just devaluing what is already there, you know? Because you don't know, you are now devaluing what is already there. But by knowing, you can justify why with confidence or with authority that this is the tool that you need to use.
All right.
Okay. I can just project again there can project how do you call it, the rubric or the marking scheme. Yeah, and I want me to just continue displaying this so that as we move on, we know where we are. So we have done the requirement specification. And here you can see that for you to get the total marks, you look at both functional and non-functional requirements are comprehensive and consistent. And that is the back and forth we've been having. And that the client was involved and approved. So you can see. So we are already done with that, unless those who are still submitting. Then today we are at this point, which we said is about 15 marks. This is a whooping 15 marks. This was just 10 marks. So know that this one has a lot of weight. 15 marks. You have to look at this with a second eye. So develop and run. So you develop and run a consistent project plan that matches the requirements and the needs of development project in terms of organization, allocation of effort, and consistency of application with a meaningful set of concrete, achievable deliverables. So I've seen Zainab says there is a template. There is a template in Canvas for the schedule. Zainab, are you in a position to share that? Okay. Oh,
He just has sent it in the chat.
yes, I'm not able to hear you. Well, better. Zainab,
Yes, sir.
you are trying to say something, but it seems.
I say that James has shared it in the chat.
Okay, okay, I can see. All right. Thanks, James. I think this one now, those who are not in a position, to check or to start off somewhere, I think we can have this. Thank you, James. You're always very swift in terms of sharing. Very good uh, for you. That's very good. Yes. So, um, yeah, so this is the template of the project schedule, having task, hours, estimated start date, estimated end date, the actual start date, and the actual end date. And of course, you have a deliverable. Yeah, so those seven columns should be used to feed in our schedule or our project schedule. So not unless somebody doesn't understand what the project schedule is all about, you can raise your hands. Or you can just come on board if you have an issue with the project schedule or the practitioner statement.
What was the name of the PowerPoint that you had with the screenshot of projects in? Because I can't find it.
Okay, this one I think no, this one I had not sent. I had not shared this. So I'll
No, but I think they're the ones in Canvas. So looking at the
yes, there's one.
five.
There's one called it's already there. I've
What's
just
the name
added
of it?
some few concepts, but it's basically what is in the canvas.
Oh, so you've amended it, your copy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just amended. I'll share with you this also, so that yeah, you can just compare and enable you to understand, because the one on on Canvas, I think they didn't talk more about the schedule, but I've just added something on the schedule. So I'll share it out. You can always check just to have it explain to you certain aspects of the plan and the practitioner statement.
Okay.
All right. So the second thing that I wanted us to discuss, I know it is not it was not to form part of our discussion, but because it's going to affect our execution, I wanted just to know those who have not whom have not signed their requirement specification, maybe to just explain to us why that is the case, because it seems we are now behind schedule, and if you're behind schedule, it is impacting on us, and we would not want to, if anybody to be left behind. I know some have submitted, but there are some who have not. I can see a few. Let me just read them by name. Those who have submitted. Okay, so I have yours, Kavit. I have yours, and Dashil Patel. Okay, Sahil and Zainab. So there are people who have not submitted. There are people who have not submitted their requirement specification.
So I have submitted mine.
So you don't have mine, Muhammad Usman?
Let me just see.
You also have mine. This is Paul, and as of last week, I sent you the word version. You never returned it.
Paul, I think I had cleared yours. Huh?
Yeah, but you didn't sign it.
Sure.
Yeah, you just signed the contract record sheet.
Yes, sir. You also didn't sign mine.
Client contract. Or it's because when you sent it, let me see. Okay, Paul, I didn't send you back, because I'd said the specification document was okay, but it seems I didn't send it back to you. Let me see.
So could you also please confirm for me if you have received my client contact and the requirement specification?
The ones that I've received now, we have, there are those that are acted upon. There are those who are sent today. I think Kavit, you sent. Dashil Patel, you just send requirement specification.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you'll send the client contact sheet. Sahil, you had sent.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
I'm waiting for your signature at the end for specification requirements. So after you get me of your signature, I start on my client contact.
No, you can send them concurrently, because I believe we from our last class, we agreed on what should be on the client contact sheet, and also what should be on your requirement specification. So once you work on them, you just send them together, so that having confirmed that your requirement specification is okay, we go ahead and also clear with the record client contact, because they go hand in hand. The requirement specification and the client contact sheets, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So Paul, sorry for that. I thought I had signed it, but it seems I just commented on it without, because I didn't send it back to you. But nonetheless, I think I'm just sending it to you right away. So anybody who has the same, please just, this is the
So
time.
I have,
Yeah.
so I have uploaded mine in the Canvas.
Yes, Zainab, I'd seen your email, the one you sent.
Yeah.
Yes. So let me clear the one for Paul.
Then after you cleared with Paul, could you just confirm if you have received my document, the one for the client contact and requirement specification?
Okay. Just let me just check when the, so Paul was on 2nd March. That's when it was approved. So Paul, you'll have to do something, because it's stretching to 3 pages.
I thought I sent you a correct one last week. After I had sent you a PDF version, and then you corrected and asked me to send the Word version, which should be having 2 pages.
Yeah, the Word version is was the client contact sheet.
No, even the requirements document was I sent it just before we started class. But I am just
Okay,
let me retrieve.
okay,
Sorry?
then just retrieve it so that because I'm seeing this is going to 3 pages. Once I put my signature, it's going to 3 pages. So kindly just confirm from your side so that I sign the correct one.
Okay.
Yes. So Kavit, you are to Kavit, is your requirement specification complete?
Yes, it is.
And you had uploaded, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because checking here, I've simplified. Okay, so all right, right. Yours is okay. Even the client contact sheet, I believe, is also complete, right? You are asking, will okay, will
The client contact sheet, we have to upload it the same way we uploaded the specific requirement document.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm doing that shortly.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I think that one answers your question that you've shared on the chat. Okay, Kavit, I think yours is okay. Let me see the share. Dashil?
Yes, sir. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Tell me.
Yeah. Were you were you able to make changes?
Yes, I was able to, but then I'm not really sure. It is up to you to tell me if I did.
Yeah, because I'd given you some.
Yeah, we had a chat, sir, on email.
Yes. Yeah, so maybe I can just explain to you again.
Yes, sir. If it's that, can you just tell me on WhatsApp or email? I don't want it to be shared.
Will you be able to understand?
Maybe. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, because what I can see here as
Yes.
part of what I had shared so that you work
Yes.
on them.
I worked upon it, and I sent you a feedback around noon or before noon.
Yeah, that's seen. That's what I'm looking at.
Yes, sir.
And I'm seeing other some of the things we talked about.
Yes, sir.
They are some are still there.
Yes. So you had talked about the tools, product development tools.
Yes.
Yes, I made some changes to that, but is it all right?
Yeah. So you could see whatever I put in red
Yes.
were to be removed.
Yes.
Yeah, so you would, in the software development,
Excuse me, sir. The one you put in red, I put HTML because I removed JavaScript and CSS, and I'm still on Bootstrap.
yeah, but those are not tools. Those are technologies.
Oh, okay, okay.
The tool
Yes,
is
sir.
only XAMPP, the XAMPP web stack,
Yes,
and possibly MySQL database management
yes,
system.
yes, sir.
And what else? Yeah, I think those are the tools. Software
Yes.
developer, you'd also talk of or the editing. I don't know how you do your code editing. Which tool will you use?
I'm actually using 2 or 3 platforms.
Which one? Which one and which one?
I'm not going to disclose it, sir.
Why are you not going to disclose?
It's I'm keeping it personal, sir.
Yeah, because we are learning. You may think you are keeping up something for yourself, but you may find that Naval has a better tool. Eh? Or maybe James was stuck somewhere, and if you share out that tool, then you can help. So you can tell us, yeah, the kind of IDEs or the editors that you'll be using, and they'll form part of your practitioner statement. Why you
Sir, excuse me. I'm going to use 802.11 X.
Okay, so those are the part of the tools. Yeah, because we have to get this clear. If we don't know the tools and the resources, when you are coming up with your project schedule, you are going to identify resources that are will be invested. The resources that you're going to invest to come up with an output or a deliverable. So you have to know them, all the tools. So if you don't talk about them, then you introduce them in the practitioner statement, then you'll be inconsistent. That's why we try to be as clear as possible from the word go. We are not saying that tools cannot change. Tools will change, but we need to have what? We need to be aware from the word go, the kind of resources that are at our disposal, and one of them being tools. It may be a software tool, or it may be a platform, Yeah, so we need to have them at our disposal. So I think the shield, you can work on those. I think the issue of non-functional requirement is fixed. That one is okay. Then the issue of how to state the non-functional, the functional and non-functional. You use the word will instead of can. Instead of
Sir,
system
okay,
needs
okay.
to be.
So just continue, sir. Apologies.
Yeah, so there are those words that are accepted when you are stating your requirements. So you talk of will or shall. Most of will is more is more formal, but you avoid the word can, or you avoid needs to be, because needs to be, you have you have an escape route. You have an escape route on that.
So is Apache also a tool?
Sorry?
Is Apache also a tool?
Yeah, Apache is a tool. It will help you to run your website, but
Okay.
I don't know if it's just you're installing it as a different platform, If
Just
you're
wanted to
working,
know.
if you're working with a stack or a platform, then you need to disclose the platform. If you say you are going to use MySQL at the same time you say XAMPP, you find that you are mixing them up. You are not aware. You're not aware of the tools, because XAMPP already has MySQL. XAMPP already has PHP. So if you mention PHP, XAMPP, MySQL, then there's something wrong somewhere. So before you write the tools, just try to check what they are all about. You can Google them, Then just check what will it offer you, And I think with that now you can be very clear with the kind of tools that you will be working with. Then in terms of resources, if you are going to do user evaluation, and you are going to sample some users somewhere to put in a lab, then those are part of resources. If at the end of it you tell us that you are going to collect, you are going to sample a few people, and put them in a lab, and under resources you didn't even tell us about a lab. You see, now you are inconsistent with your product development. Yeah, so those are the things you need to put into place when proposing a product. Then the show, again on your company, tell us how the company is going to fulfill this mandate. Just give us a brief overview on how the company, or you, if you're the owner, or okay, the company, because you've talked of the company, just
Sir, I will not go in detail because as a company, I'm thinking about there's a lot of factors, because I have almost like 3 assignments in my head and I'm confused. And I'm doing it by myself, whereby business intelligence I'm doing as group 4 alone. So I'm really confused, sir.
how are you confused?
Yes, sir.
What is bringing the confusion?
The confusion is being brought by
Yeah.
group work that was brought up in business intelligence, whereby in group 4 I'm alone, and I'm working alone to accomplish my accomplishments in that.
And how is it how is it affecting product development?
Actually, it is affecting me
As an
stressful
individual.
or something towards me.
Okay.
Because guys, excuse me, sir, guys are in groups and I'm working alone.
Okay. Have you raised that with the admin or with the lecturer?
Yes, and I told the teacher I'm going to work alone. I've talked to Mr. Boniface.
Okay. But is that not impacting on your performance?
It is affecting my health, sir, but I will not complain about it. Yes, I have to work alone, whereby people are in other 3 groups, 4 people in one group, and I have to think like 4 men alone.
Yeah, because you are strong, you should also be able to handle this, because it seems you can you can handle, because I don't see why you need to be in a group alone if others are in groups. So Shahil, I think you need to discuss with your lecturer about that. Maybe I may not be in a position to handle that, because I'm specifically looking at product development, and we are ensuring that your product at the end of it all is a good product, and that's what we are discussing here. So I want you to as much as you're working on the group work or for business intelligence, I would also want you to also come up with a good product at the end of it all, and that's why we are here. So if because if okay, what I can say is that all these modules are a requirement, because if you don't follow what the guidelines, then you'll be doing your own module. And if you do your own module, then you know that you will not, you know how evaluation will be done, right? So Dashil, here we are following a guideline. And if anybody would just come up with their own guidelines, then you know you will be evaluated on this one, whatever we are talking about here. Yeah, so I'm very sorry about that, but if you want to follow the guidelines, then that is well. But if you are not in a position to,
Sir, I'm working on it. It's just going to take a bit of time because I cannot put it mathematically and statistically in my head.
okay. So are you in a position to give an ear of what you need to do?
Sir, I'm working on everything that is concerning Tokyo 2021 Olympics Games. I'm working on it. My website is getting built. I will not share what I'm using. And only my database is left.
Okay, Dashil, I'll leave it there. You will find time. If you find time to submit, we'll check on it. But we have to follow the guidelines that we've been given. because you are not doing a different module. That is the requirement.
This is Paul again. I submitted my requirements document with fitting 2 pages now. So you can just check on it. But I've sent you 2 emails.
All right, right. I was just on the Shield's requirement specification. You had sent it earlier. That's why I was just clearing it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen Paul. I've seen it. I think this is okay. Let me just do this. Yeah, something that we need to note is that if we take it as our initiative, just assume you have a company, you want some tender, and you want to, deliver, um, you want to deliver a certain product. So just assume, because one day maybe you will be a CEO, or you may be in a team of software development, you are project manager. So these are the things that you'll be going through. So if you are able to handle this well, then when it comes to real life, you'll have an easy time. You'll have clients taking you back and forth, because a client will not invest in something that they know they're not going to get value out of it. So by going through this, we are trying to look at the real life setup, and the back and forth that you will be involved in when trying to develop a product. And it has dividends. The moment you you get it done, then you know that yeah, you will gain. But if you relax along the way, then it will go to somebody else, and you don't want that to be the case. So as we go through this, then we need to take into consideration that we are doing this as if it is a real life setup, so that when it comes to real applying it in real setting, then we find it be easy. Okay, so I've replied to you, Muhammad. I've replied to you, Zainab. And then Naval. I don't know if you can reduce the document to be less than 3 pages. Should be maximum 2 pages. Are you there, Naval?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, is it possible you make it 2 pages?
Yes.
Yeah, please do so. Then just alert me.
Otherwise, non-functional and functional are okay.
Basically, let me just tell you. And now there is that issue of using can. So you'll replace can with will.
Okay.
Yeah, like the first functional requirement, there's the word can.
Okay.
Then the third non-functional, the third functional is a non-functional requirement. It's being user-friendly. So easy to understand registration form. That one should be a non-functional requirement, right?
Registration form.
Yes.
Okay.
The
That's for
third,
non-functional.
the fourth functional requirement, you put it under non-functional.
Okay.
Yes. Then
Otherwise,
yes.
anything else?
Anything else? Let me see. In under resources, you've talked to people about marketing, sales and marketing. I sure you'll be able to get that
In the product.
on the resources part.
What do you mean by get that?
Because you maybe ask, how did you achieve that? Having
Or just by hiring.
By hiring.
Yeah.
So you have some cash that you'll use for hiring the representatives.
Yes.
Yeah, then that should be part of the resources. So
The cash.
yeah, just talk of the you can talk of finances, and you
Okay.
can talk of how much you are looking at,
Okay.
and an estimate, approximate value, because those are resources,
Yes.
Yeah, so you can just mention them. Then I think where you have, I'm thinking you can also reduce the wish list.
Okay.
Yeah, just condense it to around three items, so
Okay.
that we don't look as if you wish a lot, but you wish a lot more than what you are going to offer.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, wish list should be just maybe 3, maximum 4. So if you reduce that, I think it's going to reduce the number of pages. Then on the product to be delivered, you can just remove some words, like because we are trying to look at how to reduce this to 2 pages.
What if I reduce the font?
But you should not reduce it too much. Up to, what's this, 12? 12 is standard.
Okay, because in the other assignments they're saying 10 to 11.
10 to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that, but
Okay.
here because they've not specified. You can do that. Just make those few changes, then alert me. You just upload it back. then alert me so that I can check on it.
So you know
Yeah.
the can with will, is this the functional one?
Yeah, you don't use can.
Okay.
You always use will or shall, but more formally you use will. The
Okay.
system will. So that one you don't have an escape goat. But if you say can,
Okay.
you know, there you are not sure. You are not
You
sure.
were saying something else before I asked you the question.
What else? I was thinking you can refine the product to be delivered.
Okay.
Because I find it having a repeated you have repeated concepts, because if you can allow me to read, the product will be a computer-based solution entailing users that will be able to work with a software. Because I believe the software is that computer-based solution, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think you can remove that. So you can just say it's a computer-based solution.
Yes.
That will enable users
Yes.
to log in to a website, to register, you know. So just remove
Yes.
those words in between. A
Okay.
computer-based, in fact,
So I just make it the summary type of thing.
yeah, just make it a summary type.
Okay.
Yeah. Then what else? I've said you reduce the wish list. And
Yes.
then on the constraints,
The email you sent me was only regarding the functional and non-functional.
okay.
There was nothing else. You didn't change anything else.
Oh, these others. Okay, these others seems to be okay. Just that part of
That part of?
okay, just change the part for functional requirement under requirements and the product to be delivered.
Okay.
Yeah, you reduce the wish list. You will pull the fourth functional to be a non-functional and rewrite the product to be delivered. And you can send it back. You can upload it again so
Okay.
that it fits 2 pages.
Okay.
All right.
And then, so after the signature, then we have to do the client thing.
Just do them together. Just send them together.
Okay, so I don't need the signature first.
No, just send them together because we've discussed.
Okay.
If you make those changes, then once we agree, I'll
Okay.
just send you back the two so that at least we move a bit faster.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want the back and forth a lot, so that we at least we move faster.
So you know the first video for the Zoom, I don't think it's on YouTube. You didn't upload it.
The
first video we had, the first Zoom meeting.
I shared it with Muhammad.
There were only 3 videos on your YouTube channel.
Okay. I think the last week I might have not shared the link. So what I'll do, I'll share the two tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll share the two tomorrow. Yeah.
Fine.
Okay. Then Zainab, I believe you've gotten my feedback.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay. Then Muhammad, what are we doing now? Okay, now we I'm just sorting out those those who had not finished the requirement specification. But basically, what we are going to do from today is to start the implementation. But we are going to write. We are going to write our. We are going to design our project schedule and start writing our practitioner statement. But at the same time, start developing your product, because you know the product. Just give a plan of how you are going to develop it. Have a, have a draft plan. Just have a draft plan using the template that has been shared. Then go ahead and start writing the tools, the practitioner statement, where you are going to explain to us the methodology or the tools that you're going to employ, maybe how long it will take you, which are the areas that you need to be worried about, and how do you expect to go about them, to go around them, or how will you tackle them? Yeah, so just start writing something so that when we meet next time, let's start seeing some prototypes. We can start having some demos, and we'll also be looking at how do you call it? We'll also be looking at how your schedule is vis-a-vis your practitioner statement. In the next class, we'll share some of these tools. I'll just share with you some of the tools and maybe some techniques that can help you to refine your practitioner statement. I'll be able to check through your schedule. Remember, schedule you can keep on amending, but in our next class, I'll be just checking and seeing if it is a realistic plan. But the main thing right now is to look for the tools. Look for those tools, start developing something. Even if it is set up, start setting it up, but put that on your plan. Just have first of all, just have a rough, a sketch of a plan. Like just say for start, I'll do the installation. Second, I'll do maybe database design, the logical database design. Then after that, I may do system flow or the system architecture, you know. Then from there, I'll start writing code, you know. Just give a rough plan, or just have a rough plan of what you'll be doing to achieve that product. Up to the evaluation part. In fact, the last part should be documentation, final documentation. So just have a rough sketch of how you'll be going through this. Okay. So Naval, we have talked. So I believe you're working on something. Daniel, I'm also waiting on your feedback, sir. Daniel, I believe I communicated back to you. Let me see your case. Okay, let me see. Oh, Daniel, I think something happened. Let me see. Okay, Daniel. Um, I think I've seen it. I don't know how it might have slipped. Sorry for that. I think it is the one that I opened first in our last class, and I assumed I had responded to it. Sorry for that, but I'm just giving you a feedback in a short while. Moses, I think I gave you a feedback. Yeah, so something I've realized is that we are talking about programming languages, things like CSS, JavaScript to be resources. They are not resources. Those are just tools. Those are how do you call them? Those are technologies, but there's a when you're talking about a tool, then it may be a platform or a software development kit. Those are now what we call tools, or something to do help you with documentation. That is a tool. Yeah, but you can talk of HTML, Python. Those are not tools, or even CSS. Yeah, those are not tools. So let's avoid putting those as tools. But if we have platforms that helps us to work with those languages in a better way, then now we can consider them to be tools.
Do we need to add what we're using to create a schedule if we're not just using Word?
Yeah,
or is that part of it?
Microsoft Word is, or Microsoft Excel. Yeah, you can mention it as a tool. That one is okay.
Okay.
Yes. But talking about CSS, JavaScript, no, those are not tools. Those are programming languages, but you can have a platform. For example, yeah, maybe you can talk of Bootstrap, combining all those things. Bootstrap framework, and some of the tools. Yeah, but they fall more under technologies. When we talk about resources, the resources, these tools, the programming languages will be available in certain platforms or as a framework. So that's what we call a tool. Yeah, because it's making your work easier, Yeah, so let's try to look into that. So Daniel, if you're there, I think I've worked on your document. Sorry, I bypassed it, but I've given you some feedback. I've seen other components are good, especially product to be delivered is well stated. But I've given you comments on your chat. Your evaluation is also good. Just check on the English and the spelling. Again, guys, let's try to be very particular with our grammar and spell check so that everything is free of spelling errors. So try to use the tools for documentation to come up with good documentation outputs. So spell checking, making sure that if something is an acronym, then it should be all in uppercase, or how it has been, or the convention that has been used to as its acronym. Let's maintain that For example, if you're talking about XAMPP, then you don't write it in small letters because those are acronym of 5 things. So if you write them in small letters, then it loses the meaning. Yeah, so these are just some small things that will make our work better.
Sir, just a question.
Yes.
When can I send you the contact client sheet document?
Okay, that's so. Daniel? Oh, Daniel. Oh, Daniel, just send it right away. Once you get the correction,
Yeah.
Send together with the requirement specification. Even others who have not sent their requirement specification, the ones that have given feedback, once you work on those changes, then accompany it with the client contact sheet. Yeah, so Daniel, just check your email. I believe you'll be able to work on those changes. Then Moses, Moses, when did you send it? Which day?
It was last week on, I think, Tuesday.
On Tuesday. Let me just confirm. Moses. Okay. Yeah, the link was not.
Sorry, on Monday.
Okay. Yeah, Moses, yeah, it's there. The link was not available, so I could not retrieve your document, but yeah, I think it's good. Anybody else? Because today we want to be sure that all of us have passed this stage.
I'm sending mine, sir.
Okay, call me.
So you know the client contact record sheet is
Yes.
the actions is your part, right?
Yeah, and we agreed what to include.
So I just have to say all the feedback you've given me over the past few weeks.
Yeah, you can just summarize them.
Okay.
So what you say is just that on the draft requirement specification,
Yeah.
the following were noted.
Okay.
Yeah, so you just summarize them. Then down there, after making changes on the recommendation of the first draft, the requirements were found to be satisfactory.
Those are that's your stuff, your part.
Yeah, you just put it. I'll just check if it's okay. Then yeah, I'll send it back to you.
So what exactly do I have to write?
So you just
That,
write. You just write.
yeah.
You remember
Yes.
the template I gave out. So
Yes.
I'll just amend it accordingly. So you
Okay.
just put that so that it makes me to update it faster, and also contextualize it to your requirement specification document. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's proceed with the necessary documentation and start implementation.
Yes. That should
Okay,
be
fine.
for everybody, because
Okay.
without that, then you'll be asked, how did you start your project schedule if you still don't know how to develop your product, you know?
Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
so for everybody, that's the green light to go to the next step, which will have another client contact during the midterm um, review. So next week, it will be about development. It will be about looking at the schedule. Then along the way, we'll do a mid-week review, a midterm review of the product, just to check on how you are progressing. Then we'll give you some time to work on those changes, after which we'll have a final review, which will be the evaluation. Yeah, so right now, like Mohammed was asking, right now you should be thinking about, how do I develop this product? You know, that's what should be running in your mind. And what is the plan you put in place to accomplish development of this product? So once you get a green light, that is what should be in your mind right now.
So I've sent it.
Okay. Okay, now Moses, I've given you comment, but the major one is on how you are writing your functional requirements. How you are basically writing your requirements. Also look at the overview. I've given some comments there. Resources, try to, as we discussed, try to remove things that are not resources. If you mention one, then briefly tell us what you'd want, how it will help you. Don't just mention it. You also have to give specifics. For example, if you are talking about, say, internet, you can give us some speeds that you require, or if you have a modem, or if you have what, just give us specifics. How will you get that internet? If you're talking about the Microsoft Word, why do you just give us an overview? If it's about documentation, it's about what, just tell us briefly how you'll use it. Then try to also look at the evaluation part. You need to tell us how you'll go about it, the methodology. Like, will you put, how will you confirm that whatever kind of feature you've talked about, especially the product to be delivered, that main feature, can you tell us in a methodological way, how will you go about it? Methodological is a step-by-step, you know. So, okay, you don't need to tell us everything, but just an overview of how you'll do evaluation. So that to come during demonstration, you'll give us some outputs, test results. So tell us how you'll get those test results. Okay, so just check your email. Should be getting the feedback. Then I have Kome. I've not received. I haven't received it.
Wait, it hasn't arrived?
Not yet. Oh, okay. You used my other email. Eh?
Yeah.
You might have used my other email. Do you have my college email?
I don't think so. I have this other one.
Okay.
Done for NY, I believe.
Yeah, I'm thinking you can use. Let me just share it there on the chat.
Okay.
So that there at least it is easier to track, so that I don't miss it.
Okay.
Because sometimes if I read it, then I'll assume that I've responded to it. Only to realize when you ask me that Olivo, you've not looked at my document, and it's when I realized. So I've just shared.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so you can be using that for easier communications.
All right, it's sent. I believe so.
Okay. Let me just check. Yeah, sure. It's there. It's there. Those who are leaving, we usually take attendance towards 8. So please don't leave because you'll miss the attendance. I think we are almost winding up. I think I have the last update by Navar. Okay, so I think we are through for today. Naval, just check your email. I've given your feedback. So anybody with a question? Anybody with a question? So Clinton, Gitonga, Diego, I've not received anything from you. Okay. Okay,
Sir,
Diego.
I've seen it. Thank you.
Okay, call me. All right, Diego and Clinton, please just hasten the process so that we are not off the schedule. Time is moving fast, so please just ensure you try to do it fast. Remember, time is moving fast. Now that we've started development, before you realize, you find that the time is out, and yet you have not, whatever you promised us, have not been actualized. Yeah, so let's just try to hasten the process. Okay, thank you, Diego. I'll be expecting you. I'll be expecting your document, and also Clinton. Is there any other person who is still left out? Okay, up to that point, I would want to appreciate the time. I would want to say that this is good. So far, the progress is good. Let's just put in more effort. Let's take this as our own initiative process. Yeah, have a self-driven motive. Yeah, take it as if this is your project, and you are looking at something to deliver, to show your worth, to show that you can help the world, Yeah, because by developing products, you'll be helping the world. You'll be the only person who is in a position to deliver a product. So look at it in that context, so that you do a good job. Yeah, so start the development, start looking for those tools that we've talked about. Try to set them up. And yeah, start doing something. Start patching up your schedule. It may not be perfect. I know some who had sent their draft plans. That's good. Just start working on something, and yeah, and just put in discipline. Put in discipline. If you have a specific time of the day, be it in the morning or in the evening, where you are looking at this work, please go ahead and do that, and make sure you, as per your schedule, however draft it may be, please stick to it until you revise it. Once you revise it, then you stick to what you have revised. If you do that, in the next 3 weeks, you'll find that you've achieved a lot. And that is the trick. Just being disciplined with your schedule, and you'll make progress. Don't wait for last minute, because as you know, in terms of the marking scheme, a last minute rush will not help. You will be caught somewhere, because once I give comments, once you upload these things, they are recorded footprints. So if you not even interacted with the canvas, up to now, the system is wondering whether you're in class or not. So just try to interact with these things. Just try to do something, get a feedback, improve on it, and move forward. And I know you'll be better. Yeah, so I'll leave at that point, and let's meet next week. So have a good evening, and see you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bye.
All right, thank you.